Carolina, the matchup you've all been waiting for. Dawn Staley, Vic Schaefer, so much respect for each other. These two coaches have met in this championship game 5 times. How did we get here? Well, it's going to be the third meeting of the season between Texas and South Carolina. The first came January 12th, a dominant performance from the Gamecocks as they cruised to a 17-point victory. But then Texas return serve. Madison Booker, a big bounce-back performance. And Texas snapped South Carolina's 57-game regular season SEC winning streak. And then it came down to Greg Sankey and a coin flip to see who would be the top seed in this tournament. It is South Carolina.
Stellar in her play in this tournament. She has pushed all of the right buttons. She is so quick and electric in the open floor, can get to her spots, find her shots, draws so much defensive attention, and when she does, she is able to find open teammates for easy looks. She's been getting on the offensive glass. She's been getting it done defensively, has stepped out, hit a couple threes in this SEC championship as well. She's going to be so important here today.
South Carolina seeking a third straight SEC title in this game for the 10th time in the last 11 seasons. Meanwhile, for Texas, what a performance yesterday from Madison Booker.
Madison Booker has been their key piece all season long. Yesterday, she sees her big draw a bunch of attention, and if she is left this wide open, she is going to drain from deep. She is over 40% on the season from three-point range. Her bread and butter is getting to the mid-range, off the bounce, shedding defenders, elevating and scoring. One of the best players, best sophomores in the country.
The Texas Longhorns have won 15 in a row since that January 12th loss at South Carolina. Let's send things over to another Hall of Famer now. Here is Holly Rowe.
Well, Dawn Staley says one of the most important keys to this game for the Gamecocks is containing the post presence of the Texas Longhorns. They have struggled to find a good matchup for Kyla Oldacre. She has been phenomenal in 2 games, 16 offensive rebounds combined in those 2 games. And in the fourth quarter of the last loss for the Gamecocks in Austin, they just did not have an answer for Oldacre. She's got fancy footwork. Her 6'10" wingspan allows her to rebound out of her area. And because so many of the bigs for South Carolina were in foul trouble, they just could not contain her. Dawn Staley's been using more posts here in this tournament. Miriam Dowda, Sanaya Fagan. Let's see if they can match up a little better in the post versus the Longhorns this time around.
All right, Holly, thank you very much. It is loud in this building with South Carolina fans as we take a look at the starting lineups for Texas. Rory Harmon, Shea Holly, Madison Booker, Jackalangam, Wenentanda, and Taylor Jones. For South Carolina, Tahina Paopao, Raven Johnson, Bree Hall, Chloe Kitts, and Sanaya Fagan. Dawn Staley and Vic Schaefer meeting for the 5th time in the SEC championship game. Dawn 4-0 in those matchups. Most matchups between coaches in SEC tournament history. We were talking with Dawn earlier today at Shoot-Around about the SEC, and she said, I attribute all 3 of our national championships to playing in this conference, the way it prepares you to be able to handle March. And talking with Vic Schaefer, he said, to get to this game on this Sunday in this conference, you do it in August, September, and October with your work. And he said, hey, we have 2 really good teams here. In order for someone to win, you might just have to come across one team having a bad day, because otherwise the game may never end. That's how good these 2 teams are. A sold-out crowd of 15,000 in Greenville, South Carolina. Vic Schaefer saying, look, this is a road game for us. About 2 hours away from Columbia. Kitts and Jones to jump it up, and the SEC championship game is underway.
You see Texas starting out in their pressure man-to-man defense, a key for South Carolina. Don't let that disrupt their flow offensively.
Kidd's floater is good.
Multiple players touching the basketball. Chloe Kidd, Sanaya Fagan, both have been so good throughout the course of this SEC tournament, scoring and with the efficiency with which they're playing.
Kidd's shooting at 84% in the tournament. Fagan in the 70s. Here's Booker. Off to Holly. Her jumper won't go. Rebound whacked out of bounds, and it stays here with Texas.
Something to keep your eye on in terms of matchups at this end of the floor. Bree Hall defending Madison Booker. Bree Hall is one of the elite defenders, not only in the SEC, but in the country. And of course, Madison Booker is certainly one of the elite offensive players.
And you can see the way Hall sticking on Booker on the inbound. Here's Tanda off to Harmon. Had 3 big field goals in the 4th last night. Short on that one, and Fagan secures it for South Carolina. Here's Pow Pow. Led the nation in 3-point shooting a season ago. This year, driving it more. Pow Pow spins and finishes.
Tahina Pow Pow really handled the hard hedge well, kept her dribble, able to get penetration into the paint, and the nice little finish.
Dawn Staley talked about not wanting the pressure of Texas to speed them up offensively. So far, South Carolina's handled it really well. Here's Harmon again in the mid-range. That one is off. Jones saving it, but right to Powell, and South Carolina with control and an early 4-0 lead. Powell behind the back. Here's Fagan putting it on the deck to the corner. Powell cross court. Hall thought about the 3. 8 to shoot. Powell back iron it off with a long rebound. Holly.
That was a beautiful possession by South Carolina. Every player on the floor touched it. They reversed sides multiple times.
Jones off the double. Booker the crossover. Can't hit the jumper, and Kitts secures the strong side rebound. Kitts gives it up. Fagan, a great interior passer. Able to squeeze that to Pow, who turns it over. Here comes Harmon with Texas running. Harmon eyes up, floats it into traffic, and it's out of bounds off of Texas.
A couple of possessions ago, you see the wing ball screen by South Carolina. The hard hedge by Tanda. Pow navigates it beautifully, uses patience and the spin to finish inside. Ryan, it's worth remembering, Texas had the late game yesterday. They did not get out of here until probably about 10 o'clock last night. And you wonder if any of that fatigue will be evident, not only late in this game, but even maybe early.
Holly?
Well, Vic Schaefer actually did cancel their shoot-around this morning, being mindful of his players' legs. They went to cryotherapy instead. I talked to the players before the game, and they said, our legs feel great. Could be a little bit more nerves than leg fatigue right now. Even Vic Schaefer got into the cryo chamber, so he's feeling good too.
All right, Holly, thank you very much. Booker dumps it down, and it's knocked out of bounds. Stays here with Texas. One of the things that Vic Schaefer talked to us about as well was the importance of hitting some shots early in order to get his team to defend. You hear that ovation. That's Malaysia for Wiley checking in. Was the SEC tournament MVP a season ago and has a good chance to win it again here. That's Bree Hall. Slaps that out of bounds, and then that's a big grin.
I love it. She deflects it, hits it, and then like, I'm going to get it one more time as if she's playing volleyball.
You can see even Cheetah Cross, one of our officials there, smiling as Hall went for the extra smack. Harmon gets it into Tanda. Tanda nearly lost her footing. Gets it to drop in, though. That's a tough bucket from Jackalenga Tanda.
I mean, she had completely lost her balance in her lower half, so that was a tough recover and finish for sure.
Here's for Wiley. Dancing through, making it look easy.
I mean, Vic Schaefer told us one of the keys for his team defensively is to keep South Carolina guards in front of them. Good luck with that with Malaysia for Wiley. Many have tried, many have failed.
Harmon bounces. Jones, good hands, couldn't finish it. Here comes for Wiley. Hall gets fouled by Booker. An early personal on Madison Booker. Always worth watching.
Malaysia for Wiley just navigating. Look, she slices through three players, has a 6'4" shot blocker coming to contest in the beautiful English using the backboard.
All SEC second team this year. The SEC sixth woman of the year.
Why is it called English when you spin it off the backboard like that?
I'm sure someone will have that answer for you shortly.
I hope you do.
For Wiley, step back jumper off, and Booker the rebound for Texas. Booker has it knocked away from behind by Fagan, able to slow down a break there from the Longhorns.
And keep an eye on the fact that Madison
What up, Cess?
first foul. Remember, she had been in foul trouble in the first game of this matchup.
It has been at times. Oh, we have a little LED.
Is for the ultimate competitors.
Some prime time top talent.
We're a winning program, and that's what we do.
Championship Sunday's all about toughness. It's about resilience.
Holy cow!
And that is smooth.
You got to leave it on the floor.
Well, here it comes. Texas, South Carolina. The matchup you've all been waiting for. Dawn Staley, Vic Schaefer, so much respect for each other. These two coaches have met in this championship game 5 times. How did we get here? Well, it's going to be the third meeting of the season between Texas and South Carolina. The first came January 12th, a dominant performance from the Gamecocks as they cruised to a 17-point victory. But then Texas returns serve. Madison Booker, a big bounce-back performance. And Texas snapped South Carolina's 57-game regular season SEC winning streak. And then it came down to Greg Sankey and a coin flip to see who would be the top seed in this tournament. It is South Carolina as we welcome you courtside. Hey everybody, Ryan Rucco alongside the Hall of Famer Rebecca Lobo. So happy to be with you this championship Sunday on ESPN. Rebecca, for South Carolina, they have so many different levers to pull in a game. In this tournament thus far, it's been Malaysia for Wiley, who has been electric.
And Malaysia Wiley has been absolutely stellar in her play in this tournament. She has pushed all of the right buttons. She is so quick and electric in the open floor, can get to her spots, find her shots, draws so much defensive attention, and when she does, she is able to find open teammates for easy looks. She's been getting on the offensive glass. She's been getting it done defensively, has stepped out, hit a couple threes in this SEC championship as well. She's going to be so important here today.
South Carolina seeking a third straight SEC title in this game for the 10th time in the last 11 seasons. Meanwhile, for Texas, what a performance yesterday from Madison Booker.
Madison Booker has been their key piece all season long. Yesterday, she sees her big draw a bunch of attention, and if she is left this wide open, she is going to drain from deep. She is over 40% on the season from three-point range. Her bread and butter is getting to the mid-range, off the bounce, shedding defenders, elevating and scoring. One of the best players, best sophomores in the country.
The Texas Longhorns have won 15 in a row since that January 12th loss at South Carolina. Let's send things over to another Hall of Famer now. Here is Holly Rowe.
Well, Dawn Staley says one of the most important keys to this game for the Gamecocks is containing the post presence of the Texas Longhorns. They have struggled to find a good matchup for Kyla Oldacre. She has been phenomenal in 2 games, 16 offensive rebounds combined in those 2 games. And in the fourth quarter of the last loss for the Gamecocks in Austin, they just did not have an answer for Oldacre. She's got fancy footwork. Her 6'10" wingspan allows her to rebound out of her area. And because so many of the bigs for South Carolina were in foul trouble, they just could not contain her. Dawn Staley's been using more posts here in this tournament. Miriam Dowda, Sanaya Fagan. Let's see if they can match up a little better in the post versus the Longhorns this time around.
All right, Holly, thank you very much. It is loud in this building with South Carolina fans as we take a look at the starting lineups for Texas. Rory Harmon, Shea Holly, Madison Booker, Jackalangam, Wenentanda, and Taylor Jones. For South Carolina, Tahina Paopao, Raven Johnson, Bree Hall, Chloe Kitts, and Sanaya Fagan. Dawn Staley and Vic Schaefer meeting for the 5th time in the SEC Championship game. Dawn 4-0 in those matchups. Most matchups between coaches in SEC tournament history. We were talking with Dawn earlier today at shoot-around about the SEC, and she said, I attribute all 3 of our national championships to playing in this conference, the way it prepares you to be able to handle March. And talking with Vic Schaefer, he said to get to this game on this Sunday in this conference, you do it in August, September, and October with your work. And he said, hey, we have 2 really good teams here. In order for someone to win, you might just have to come across one team having a bad day, because otherwise the game may never end. That's how good these 2 teams are. A sold-out crowd of 15,000 in Greenville, South Carolina. Vic Schaefer saying, look, this is a road game for us. About 2 hours away from Columbia. Kitts and Jones to jump it up, and the SEC Championship game is underway.
You see Texas starting out in their pressure man-to-man defense. A key for South Carolina. Don't let that disrupt their flow offensively.
Kitts' floater is good.
Multiple players touching the basketball. Chloe Kitts, Sanaya Fagan both have been so good throughout the course of this SEC tournament. Scoring and with the efficiency with which they're playing.
Kitts shooting at 84% in the tournament. Fagan in the 70s. Here's Booker. Off to Holly. Her jumper won't go. Rebound whacked out of bounds, and it stays here with Texas.
Something to keep your eye on in terms of matchups at this end of the floor. Bree Hall defending Madison Booker. Bree Hall is one of the elite defenders, not only in the SEC, but in the country. And of course, Madison Booker is certainly one of the elite offensive players.
And you can see the way Hall sticking on Booker on the inbound. Here's Wenentanda off to Harmon. Had 3 big field goals in the 4th last night. Short on that one, and Fagan secures it for South Carolina. Here's Paopao. Led the nation in 3-point shooting a season ago. This year, driving it more. Paopao spins and finishes.
Tahina Paopao really handled the hard hedge well, kept her dribble, able to get penetration into the paint, and the nice little finish.
Dawn Staley talked about not wanting the pressure of Texas to speed them up offensively. So far, South Carolina's handled it really well. Here's Harmon again in the mid-range. That one is off. Jones saving it, but right to Paopao, and South Carolina with control and an early 4-0 lead. Paopao behind the back. Here's Fagan putting it on the deck to the corner. Paopao cross court. Hall thought about the 3. 8 to shoot. Paopao back on and off with a long rebound. Holly.
That was a beautiful possession by South Carolina. That blocked every player on the floor, touched it. They reversed sides multiple times.
Jones off the double. Booker the crossover. Can't hit the jumper, and Kitts secures the strong side rebound. Kitts gives it up. Fagan, a great interior passer. Able to squeeze that to Pow, who turns it over. Here comes Harmon with Texas running. Harmon eyes up, floats it into traffic, and it's out of bounds off of Texas.
A couple of possessions ago, you see the wing ball screen by South Carolina. The hard hedge by Muenentanda. Pow navigates it beautifully, uses patience and the spin to finish inside. Ryan, it's worth remembering, Texas had the late game yesterday. They did not get out of here until probably about 10 o'clock last night. And you wonder if any of that fatigue will be evident, not only late in this game, but even maybe early.
Holly?
Well, Vic Schaefer actually did cancel their shoot-around this morning, being mindful of his players' legs. They went to cryotherapy instead. I talked to the players before the game, and they said, our legs feel great. Could be a little bit more nerves than leg fatigue right now. Even Vic Schaefer got into the cryo chamber, so he's feeling good too.
All right, Holly, thank you very much. Booker dumps it down, and it's knocked out of bounds. Stays here with Texas. One of the things that Vic Schaefer talked to us about as well was the importance of hitting some shots early in order to get his team to defend. You hear that ovation. That's Malaysia for Wiley checking in. Was the SEC tournament MVP a season ago and has a good chance to win it again here. Slaps that out of bounds, and then has a big grin.
I love it. She deflects it, hits it, and then like, I'm going to get it one more time as if she's playing volleyball.
You can see even Gina Cross, one of our officials there, smiling as Hall went for the extra smack. Harmon gets it into Muenentanda. Muenentanda nearly lost her footing. Gets it to drop in, though. That's a tough bucket from Jackalenga Muenentanda.
I mean, she had completely lost her balance in her lower half, so that was a tough recovery and finish for sure.
Here's for Wiley. For Wiley dancing through, making it look easy.
I mean, Vic Schaefer told us one of the keys for his team defensively is to keep South Carolina guards in front of them. Good luck with that with Malaysia for Wiley. Many have tried, many have failed.
Harmon bounces. Jones, good hands, couldn't finish it. Here comes for Wiley. Hall gets fouled by Booker. An early personal on Madison Booker. Always worth watching.
Malaysia for Wiley just navigating. Look, she slices through three players, has a 6'4" shot blocker coming to contest with the beautiful English using the backboard.
All SEC second team this year. The SEC sixth woman of the year.
Why is it called English when you spin it off the backboard like that?
I'm sure someone will have that answer for you shortly.
I hope they do.
For Wiley, step back jumper off, and Booker the rebound for Texas. Booker has it knocked away from behind by Fagan. Able to slow down a break there from the Longhorns.
And keep an eye on the fact that Madison Booker picked up her first foul. Remember, she had been in foul trouble in the first game of this matchup.
It has been at times. Oh, we have a little LED board issue.
Ooh. Well, just leave it there?
Feels like that's the best solution at this moment.
They don't want a rebate.
There's a P and speed's missing. Here's Booker. Dumps it down. Jones, again a good look. The follow is good. Taylor Jones had a big first half against South Carolina in Texas's win in February. Here's Fagan, quick step, great pass. For Wiley, shovels, Joyce Edwards, can't bank it in. Rebound, Fagan underneath, can't finish it, knocked around. Muenentanda comes away with it, and a held ball, possession arrow belongs with Texas.
Just a nice pass inside. Taylor Jones doing a really good job of gathering on the offensive board and finishing just really nice, keeping the ball high so it can't get wrapped up for a jump ball.
Vic Schaefer's talked about it being a feel thing for when he goes with Jones, when he goes with Oldacre. His two-headed monster at the center position as the foul is called here against South Carolina. Will step aside. 2-point game midway through the first with the SEC title on the line. Most titles in SEC tournament history. Tennessee with 17, South Carolina with 8. And those 8 have come in the last 10 tournaments, with Dawn Staley at the helm now in her 17th season guiding South Carolina. 3 national championships as well. South Carolina projected to be a 1 seed in the NCAA tournament, according to our Charlie Cream. So too is Texas. The others, USC and UCLA. Charlie feels that is set, but where you fall in those 1 seeds could be determined by who wins these title games today, as Booker gets a good look, couldn't finish it. When Intonda has it deflected and taken by the freshman Edwards. Here's Raven Johnson, pull up, she got it.
Raven Johnson has been relatively quiet in this SEC tournament when it comes to her scoring, but certainly did not hesitate at all there.
Here's Booker. Draws for Wiley. Booker elevates. Can't finish. Johnson the rebound. Booker 0 for 3. Oh, for Wiley. Nearly another highlight.
Ryan, when these teams met the first time this year in Columbia, Madison Booker struggled in that game. She had 7 points on only 3 of 19 from the field. She's so important for Texas in terms of her efficiency.
Last night, she was their source of offense. Real struggle for both teams to score in their semifinal matchup with LSU. Here's Edwards, throws it away, Holly the steal. Here comes Booker, flinging it down the floor. Harmon bounces in. Jones surrounded, able to reverse it home. South Carolina wanted to travel. Taylor Jones has gotten a couple good looks in the early going.
You know what that was? Nice English.
Wait, did we get to the bottom of it? For Wiley, leaves it short. Rebound Holly for Texas. It's billiards, right?
I think it comes from billiards. I don't know what's the origin there, but
I think it's an Englishman who came over, played some billiards with a certain amount of spin, and then they called it English, putting English on it.
Because he was an Englishman?
That was one thing I read.
Okay.
I've heard the internet can deceive us, though. 3:31 to go in the first. 8-6, South Carolina leads Texas. Booker, guarded by Tessa Johnson in off the bench. Justice Carlton in for Texas. Holly was open in the corner. Carlton travels, and Texas turns it over. Hey, coming up next, we finish up Championship Sunday with Baylor against TCU and the Phillips 66 Big 12 title on the line.
Those 2 teams met just a week ago for the regular season title. TCU able to win that one in a close game.
3 turnovers now for Texas in this first quarter. A low-scoring frame. Here's Johnson. Backs away. For Wiley. Shimmies, dishes. Pow out to Edwards. Her jumper. No. And Booker secures it for Texas.
That was a lovely rebound by Madison Booker.
Here's Booker. Elevates, drops it short. 0 for 4 to start for Wiley. Dashing, had it knocked away by Harmon. Interesting decision there by Shea Holly. She maybe had a chance to grab that basketball, let it go out of bounds, but it was Harmon who had hit it last.
Great hands there by Harmon.
Or maybe Harmon hadn't hit it last.
Yeah.
Tessa Johnson, great look, and kicks, finishes.
This South Carolina team is very unselfish and willing to make the pass and capable of doing so, making right decisions.
In tight spaces as well.
Yes.
Holly will fire. Can't hit, was 0 for 8 last night. Edwards gets it ahead. Here's Pow on the open floor. Texas gets back defensively. Johnson around the hedge, pull up, around and off, and lands in the lap of Taylor Jones. South Carolina 5 for 13, Texas 3 for 13. And a whistle here against South Carolina. Not many whistles in this first as Kyla Oldacre will check in for Texas. Let's send things over to Holly Rowe.
Well, as you mentioned, Madison Booker with 3 of 19 in the first meeting. She started out today 0 of 4. But I talked to her about how she processed that performance and how she can move on from it. She said, you know, it happens, but I did get in my head about it. Coach told me I've just got to keep my eyes on the next play and realize your shot's affected and not going in. You have to do other things, steals, rebounds, create for your teammates. So it's interesting that now she's starting out 0 for 4 right now. I want to see what else she's doing to not get in her head today.
And one of the things she can do well, you see Oldacre having an immediate impact coming into the game that Booker has done well, even in games where she hasn't been able to shoot efficiently. She's found a way to get fouled, get to the free throw line, manufacture points there.
Foul here on Shea Holly will send Tessa Johnson to the line. Oh, are they gonna check who they call that on? It's gonna be on Lee instead, so it'll be the first on the freshman Jordan Lee. But to your point, Rebecca, that last meeting against South Carolina, Madison Booker drew 8 fouls in that game, had a big bounce-back performance with 20 points, 11 rebounds in Texas's win. As Tessa Johnson sinks the first free throw. Oh, triple flip. Nicely done. Johnson hits both. 4 points, South Carolina lead. 1:20 to go in the first quarter of the SEC championship game. Here's Lee. Looking for Booker. Picked up her dribble, needs help, kicks it away. For Wiley. Through traffic, elevates, can't flip it in. Gets the rebound, Fagan's jumper, in and out. And a box out from Lee allows Texas the rebound. South Carolina's had some real good looks to try and extend their lead. Harmon, sure.
That's where she can be really good, especially when she gets a couple rhythm dribbles into her mid-range jumper.
Did not have a field goal entering the fourth quarter last night, then hit 3 mid-range jumpers to help Texas close down LSU. About a 13-second difference, game and shot clock. Harmon bats it away. Pow flags it down. 7 to shoot. Pow sending away Kitts. 3 to shoot. Pow hoists. In and out. Booker the rebound. Vic Schaefer yelling, hold for one here. Hold for one. Booker. 3 seconds left in the quarter. Booker behind the back. Turns it over. And that'll do it for the first. South Carolina. The 2-point lead after 1. We'll hear from Vic Schaefer. Well, this fan certainly hoping for that offense to get going. 5 turnovers in the first quarter from Texas in a sea of South Carolina fans. I mean, Greenville only about 2 hours from Columbia. South Carolina's fans travel so well, and it is loud for the Gamecocks. Meanwhile, Texas trying to join this group to win a major conference tourney title in their first year in that conference. Here's Kitts giving it up. Kitts goes down. Harmon underneath her. Booker ends up with a steal, and Oldacre gives it right back.
South Carolina got the switch they wanted with a small on Chloe Kitts, but too many bodies in there, couldn't deliver it inside.
Booker 0 for 7 over her last 2 quarters. Holly way off on the 3, and the rebound out of bounds. Looked like it had lasted Booker. South Carolina certainly thought so. Let's see, did it get Hall or did it get Booker? Oh, maybe it got the left hand of Hall.
You know, when you talk about Madison Booker, especially in this matchup, remember that South Carolina has multiple very good defenders with length.
Yes.
And both Bree Hall, who's guarding her now, and Tessa Johnson, both are 6 feet long, athletic, make life hard for whoever they're guarding.
We saw what a wonderful job Rehal did on Madison Booker in the first meeting back in January between these teams. Shot clock at 1, Harmon's 3 off the mark, and Fagan the rebound. Texas has hit just 1 3 this season in their matchups against South Carolina combined. It's great position. The finish of the foul. What a delivery from Fagan.
Lee was working hard to try to get around the front side, and Chloe Kitts held the seal, and that's what you do when you're in the post. Ducks in, puts her arms up, Fagan delivers beautifully, and how about Kitts? Gets hit in the face, keeps the confidence there, and what do you do when your teammate passes you the basketball for an assist, Ryan?
You point, give him some love. Sanaya Fagan is such an outstanding passer at that position. And the high-low passing game of South Carolina, terrific. Largest lead thus far, it is 5 for the Gamecocks. Here's Booker, surrounded by Gamecocks.
And they're going to continually be able to surround her in the middle of the floor if her teammates can't extend the defense by making threes.
Booker veering, dumping, stolen away, and then out of bounds. Shot clock at 4. Hey, what a star-studded NBA Sunday matchup we have for you. 8 Eastern, Donovan Mitchell, the Cavs already clinched the 1 seed in the East. They'll be in Milwaukee squaring off against Giannis, Dame, and the Bucks. Coverage tips with NBA Countdown at 7 Eastern. Winnintondo has a pass knocked away, tips to Harmon, shot clock violation. Texas turns it over. 6 turnover already for Texas. Dawn Staley talked about, hey, Madison Booker's good, but we just have to avoid giving up looks to her where she's in the rhythm she wants to be. So far, they've been successful in that.
And it's been a team effort. She has been surrounded anytime she catches the ball in the paint area.
6 rebounds for Booker, trying to make an impact otherwise. Meanwhile, Rory Harmon is down. Rory Harmon down in the backcourt. Harmon, who tore her ACL. No unobserved intentional foul, just a basketball play, but that's not going to make Rory Harmon's nose feel any better.
Sanaya Fagan was boxing out, and the incidental contact came with Fagan's arm hitting Rory Harmon in the nose.
So instead, Preston, Brianna Preston, the freshman, comes into the game. Vic Schaefer says, I have a fast point guard and an electric point guard. Preston electric as Booker kicks it out of bounds. That is the 7th Texas turnover.
And Texas is trying to get Booker going, off the dribble, giving her some space. There's just no space to be had, especially in the middle part of the floor because of South Carolina's help defense.
Texas opened the game 0 for 4 from the floor. They have not led. South Carolina's maintained a modest lead as Oldacre able to gobble up that pass. Here's Booker. Dumping it down, an inaccurate pass to Oldacre. Preston ends up with it. Winnintondo inside, gets denied by Kitts and controlled by Hall. Raven Johnson dumps it down. Chloe Kitts shovels. Fagan finishes.
We've talked about the interior passing and the connection between those two young women in particular, Kitts and Fagan. They are always looking for one another.
Kitts had a career-high 25 points in the quarterfinals. Here's Booker sliding through, can't hit. Johnson, what a rebound. Booker now 0 for 5, and a whistle on Preston is going to slow down the South Carolina break.
Chloe Kitts has made an impact on both ends of the floor throughout the course of this season and tournament. Just a beautiful block on one end, gets sandwiched, passes the ball off to Fagan on the other.
Recently had a triple-double. We've seen the passing on display from Fagan. Again, nice look from Kitts. Fagan with a second chance here for South Carolina. Hall a 3. No.
And Ryan, this is a Texas team with only 2 losses on the season. They've had tremendous success, and they do it without utilizing the 3 ball. They shoot 30%. They make about 3 threes per game. And in this game in particular, it is hurting them because South Carolina's been able to strength the floor.
Right. Do you have to just take some more attempts to try and soften that
from
defense?
your right people? If you can get Holly going, if you can get Jordan Lee, who spent much of the season above 40% from 3. But right now, look at where all the South Carolina defenders are.
And Lee on the bench right now with 2 personals. Here's Booker.
Everybody's in the paint.
Tanda, nothing doing for Texas. Preston, 3 to shoot. Preston gonna have to put it up. Wild attempt and another outstanding defensive possession from South Carolina.
And having a dirty lane like that, Ryan, not only makes it hard to get post-entry passes, you can't get any dribble penetration or cuts through the lane or any way to get easy looks around the rim.
Texas is 348th in Division I at 3-point attempts. They take just 10 and a half a game. They make just over 3, as Rebecca said, which is 346th in the nation. Despite all that, they have the 4th most efficient offense in the nation. But against certain teams, you just may need to access that outside shot here and there.
And one of the reasons their offense is so efficient throughout this season is getting to the free throw line and making up for it there. They have not taken a free throw yet here today.
Roy Harmon back into the game for Texas. Good news for the Longhorns, their senior leader. Here's for Wiley. Asking for the screen. Back to Fagan. To the corner. Johnson's 3 is good. South Carolina run. We'll be back in 30 seconds.
Sanaya Fagan has been a terrific distributor from the post position there out to Johnson.
Well, next Sunday, we'll have the exclusive announcement of the 68-team NCAA Women's Championship field again this year. We'll break down every team and every matchup in each region, 8 Eastern on ESPN with a bonus hour of coverage at 9 on ESPN2. Another turnover, the 9th for Texas. For Wiley, lost it. Booker ends up with it for the Longhorns. Booker slithering, dishing, when Tanda pivots inside and gets denied. Edwards there. Texas has not scored yet in the second quarter. Big Schaefer finally taking the jacket off. That might be what the Longhorns need. Edwards with a lane, foul called on Oldacre. Free throws for Joyce Edwards.
South Carolina's defense has been absolutely stifling already in this game. Joyce Edwards does a good job. When Tanda gets by her, she's able to block from behind. There it comes. The eye roll and the removal of the jacket. I want someone there to hand my jacket to when I take it off like that.
Anytime you want, partner.
Yes, anytime. Oh,
Yeah, I'm volunteering.
Okay.
Edwards.
I thought you were clarifying. Yes, every time.
How about Joyce Edwards, the freshman, just so poised in big moments. Dawn Staley's talked about it all season and how, as the season's gone along, the game has slowed down even more for her. We saw her have a huge performance yesterday in the win against Oklahoma. Off to a good start today.
Regan Johnson is just sitting in the lane, not even worried about where Rory Harmon is.
Oldacre surrounded, flips it up and off. Rebound for Wiley. Here comes South Carolina for Wiley to the cup, plus the foul.
Mylasia for Wiley. We talk about her when she has a head full of steam. So quick, getting to the rim, gets by any defenders. Here, doesn't matter right side of the floor, left side. just puts the Jets on. That's the second time she's able to finish over Jones.
Well, she has such a unique finishing package as well, Rebecca. We talked about the English off the window before, left hand, right hand, sometimes from difficult angles, even traditionally further away from the rim than you would want to get. She could stop and hook it in.
Look at Full Wiley on the help side. You can't get the ball into Old Acre when she's able to play off like that. Now it's Raven Johnson in the paint.
13-0 South Carolina. Harmon, no. Here comes Full Wiley, the get-ahead. Johnson, touchdown.
When you do not have to worry about three-point shooters defensively, you can play off, clog up the paint. That's what South Carolina does. First from Full Wiley, then from Raven Johnson. It makes it so difficult for the Texas Post to get anything easy. And then it leads to a burst of energy by Full Wiley the other way. I mean, just the difference in the ease of the paint scoring for South Carolina versus the difficulty for Texas. Bench loves it, fans love it. Texas still has not scored in this quarter.
Let's take a look at today's player resume brought to you by Indeed. Mylasia Full Wiley, last year the first freshman to win the SEC Tournament MVP award since Candace Parker. And we know you're watching, Candace. Hi. Full Wiley trying to make it consecutive SEC Tournament MVPs. For a little more on Full Wiley, here's Holly Rowe.
Mylasia Full Wiley is so electric and fun to watch. I asked her earlier this year, when did you know that you were something special in basketball and you could be this good? She said, actually, I was in 4th grade. I became the MVP of my 4th grade boys team. She said, I still have that trophy. My mom's got it in the house, and I knew then I was something special because I was better than all the boys.
Hold on to that trophy forever. Thank you, Al. Shot clock down to 4. Harmon puts up the mid-range and hits. First points of the quarter for Texas. Look at Edwards just beating everyone down the floor. And Raven Johnson, such a great get-ahead passer.
I mean, Texas finally scores after a tough possession where they shared the basketball both sides of the floor. And South Carolina just answers with a wide-open layup.
Jones turns, doesn't get the roll. Knocked out of bounds. South Carolina basketball.
We've been talking about this throughout the course of the season. Raven Johnson is a very good get-ahead passer. Joyce Edwards and all of the post players for South Carolina will run the floor and then point to the passer, Ryan Rucco. That's 2 already in one game.
Here's for Wiley, wiggling, taking off. Fagan in. Fagan with 6 boards in the half. South Carolina dominating Texas thus far. 3rd meeting of the season between these teams. Splitting the first 2. And a 3-second violation. 10th turnover for Texas. The last team to be held under 20 points in the first half of the SEC Championship game. 2018, Mississippi State against South Carolina. Rick Schaefer was the head coach of Mississippi State. Don Staley, the head coach of South Carolina. And Edwards tosses in. Fagan to the corner for Wiley. Off.
But another great pass by Sanaya Fagan from the interior to a shooter out on the perimeter.
She's been doing it with both hands today, too, as Booker finally gets one to drop. Madison Booker, who had 25 last night, scores her first points today with that jumper. Can Texas make a little push here before halftime? For Wiley, the whirl, just left it short. Every time she has the ball in her hands, something exciting happens. Booker quick trying to tie her shoe. Harmon waiting for her. In the quarterfinals, lost her shoe, and Harmon was the player who grabbed it and eventually exchanged it for the basketball. 5 to shoot. 2 to shoot. Harmon has to. Does she get it off? She does. It hits. And South Carolina will take a timeout. Texas finding a little more rhythm offensively. So we mentioned this wasn't the first issue of podiatry for Madison Booker.
In the quarterfinal, her shoe comes off. Right there, you see it on the floor. Rory Harmon picks the shoe up and plays the possession out defensively, holding the shoe. Well, Madison Booker gets the rebound, and they flip, exchange shoe for basketball seamlessly and go the other way. This is a moment ago. She loses the shoe. Did she lose the shoe again, or just needs to tie it up?
She had to tie it up, and she was just mouthing, my shoe, my shoe. But you know, that's where the 30-second shot clock helps. Just get it across half court, tie the shoe, and continue the possession.
Why don't you just tie it tighter so that doesn't happen?
That is also a solution. Rebecca, meanwhile, Texas last few times down the floor, they've gotten some better looks on the offensive end, Harmon and Booker.
But it's still all self-creation.
Yeah.
It's still one-on-one, trying to get by or over your defender, finishing with a tough shot. Nothing's easy. Nothing's easy. You see Texas now. Are they in the zone?
15-point lead for South Carolina. Here's Tessa Johnson. The defender falls. Kitts dumps it down. Edwards patiently flips it up. Kitts on the follow. Chloe Kitts with 9 points, 4 of 5 from the floor. She's over 80% in this SEC tournament. Kitts also a candidate for tournament MVP the way she's played. If South Carolina should win today. Harmon looking inside, shot clock at 3, thrown away. 11 Texas turnover. 3 seconds left. Johnson can't find Kitts. Matters. And just a bit inaccurate with the pass. 1.3 remaining in this second quarter.
100% the right idea. Just threw it a little bit too much ahead of Chloe Kitts.
Booker will inbound. Gets it ahead. Holly dumps it down, and that will do it for the first half. South Carolina's defense completely dominant, holding Texas to 16 first half points. And South Carolina with a 17-point lead at the half. Dawn Staley is with Holly.
Well, Coach Staley, your defense has been smothering and intentional. Talk to me about the sagging defense really protecting the paint and making everything so hard for Texas inside.
Yeah, I think Raven's doing a great job just floating around, playing off of Harmon just a little bit, just to give our post a chance to get in better positioning. We want them to lob over the top and see if we can swarm at the ball. It's working. We're chasing Booker all over the place, making it hard for her to catch. So hopefully, you know, by the time the third or fourth quarter comes around, she won't have the height on that beautiful shot that she has.
People like to make a lot of all the McDonald's All-Americans on your team, but what stands out to me right now, Coach, is how unselfish this team is. They are passing, they are finding each other. What stands out to you about the way you're sharing the ball right now?
That's our culture. That's who we are. We try to play basketball the right way. We try to allow this to be the training grounds for the WNBA. We want our league to be around for such a long time, and we have quality players and people that can feed from our program. It's only great. I know our league is in a safe and good place.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, Holly.
All right, thank you, Holly. Thank you, Dawn. South Carolina's 17-point lead at the half. Yeah, Beyonce would agree with that sign. Elle Duncan, Andrea Carter, Janae Agumake coming up. South Carolina trying to win a third straight SEC title. They have a big lead at the half over Texas. Take it away, Elle.
For a minute there, I thought Ron Ruger was calling us Beyonce. I was like, well, thank you, sir. Welcome.
We just saw a shot of the South Carolina bench. The bench had the same amount of points as the Texas team in that first half at 16.
Texas without a free throw, without a three-pointer in that first half. The three-pointers somewhat expected. The free throws not. Here's Jones, and South Carolina's D picking up where it left off. That's now 12 Texas turnovers. Lob it into Kitts. Kitts waits, dishes, extra feed, pow. Back ironing off. Kitts the offensive rebound. Right back to pow. How about Hall? Short.
Again, though, a beautiful possession for South Carolina. Just the way they're sharing and moving the basketball.
They really have played some beautiful basketball in this SEC tournament in all three matchups. As Harmon gets another mid-range to fall.
A self-created shot. We saw that a lot from Madison Booker in the semifinal game. We're seeing it here from Laurie Harmon.
Hall peels back. Off to pow. Here's pow turning the corner. Raven Johnson can't hit the three. Some great looks again for South Carolina.
They're doing a really good job of getting paint touches and then delivering on the money passes to perimeter players.
Here's Booker, a quiet first half. Tough jumper off. Jones put back in.
What a luxury for South Carolina defensively when your four-player Chloe Kitts can switch out and give a great contest on Madison Booker.
Good start to the quarter for Texas. And a foul here is going to go against Texas. It'll be Shea Holly. That'll be her first. What do you need to see from Texas to continue to climb back into this game, Rebecca?
Well, they're going to have to get some stops defensively, and even though South Carolina's got a couple good looks, they have gotten those stops, but they've got to figure out a way, if they can, to get out in transition, find anything easy at the rim.
Pow found something easy at the rim there. 35-20, South Carolina in front. SEC championship game. Harmon and Jones accounting for most of Texas's limited offense. Booker gets fouled by Hall, who ends up falling on Booker, and free throws for Madison Booker. The first free throw attempts of the game for Texas.
The post players for South Carolina are outstanding passers, and we've seen it throughout the course of this game, sometimes interior to out. How about that little bounce pass from Kitts to the cutting pow.
One of the things we talked about it yesterday, but Dawn Staley really emphasizes with her bigs, is that they can do everything the guards can do. And you see that from the way that they pass. As Booker hits the first free throw. And the passing from Kitts and Fagan has been just terrific. Meanwhile, you just saw that graphic, how much Texas uses the free throw line. Now, they've not gotten there yet today. This was their first trip. When Intanda comes up with it, but it's going to be South Carolina basketball as they had the possession out.
And realistically, for Texas to continue to cut into this lead, they're just going to have to make tough shots. Because the way South Carolina is playing defense, they're probably not going to get easy looks. So Booker's going to have to make tough shots. Rory Harmon's going to have to make tough shots.
Booker 1 of 7 in this game. Pow. Dances back beyond the arc. Directing traffic. Pow drives it in a crowd. Kitts looking for an angle. Finds Fagan. Her jumper is good. Again, the unselfish nature and the ability to pass in tight spaces. Fagan. Holly's jumper off. Pow the rebound. With some pace, lob it inside, taken away by Harmon. Here's Harmon trying to get something going on the run for Texas. Wide open, Shea Holly's three, short. And Shea Holly's shooting struggles continue. 0 for 8 yesterday, 0 for 5 today, including 0 for 3 from 3.
And that's about as open a look as Texas can hope to get.
Lob it inside, knocked away by Mwenetanda. 6 to shoot for South Carolina. Now, we've seen games where Shea Holly gets hot from 3. Saw it in the Notre Dame matchup earlier this year. Has gotten some good looks. They just have not fallen. She's the all-time winningest player in program history. Kids, tough look. Nearly got it to drop. Johnson bats it away, but it stays with Texas.
Raven Johnson's had a really nice defensive game here so far.
Harmon, you could tell, trying to speed it up and be more aggressive, and instead, Texas turns it over again.
Just there, Rory Harmon looked like she mistook the official for a second for a teammate and threw it there.
And you could see the toe of Madison Booker was just out of bounds.
And I know this is a Texas team that is in great physical condition and they have some depth, but they certainly have made some tired mistakes mentally, and they look a little bit tired, understandably. 3rd game in 3 days after playing a game at 7 o'clock last night.
13 turnovers for Texas, which is what they average per game. For Wiley in, gets denied. What a rejection from Taylor Jones.
Well, who doesn't look tired?
Taylor Jones?
Malaysia full Wiley. But Taylor Jones able to come over, and another block there for the big girl for Texas.
Well, in South Carolina's depth, such an asset as well in this tournament. They really have an even distribution of minutes across their rotation. As Fagan lost it, for Wiley trying to get back to it. They're going to call the foul on Preston. They call that foul on Preston. Let's take another look. So Preston, hooking the arm of full Wiley, grabbing her down. That's the right call.
It's probably got a name in wrestling. Is it a wrestling move?
I feel like it is. I wish I could be a greater source of information there for you.
Like they kind of do in college and the Olympics and stuff.
Out of bounds. South Carolina turns it over. Hey, coming up next, we finish up Championship Sunday. Baylor TCU, Phillips 66, Big 12 title on the line. What a season for TCU. What a bounce back season for Baylor. Mwenetanda. Off to Harmon, pull-up jumper, off, Jones on the offensive glass, stripped, 14th turnover, and then a foul or a held ball. A held ball, and Texas has the possession arrow.
Texas went to their dribble drive offense that last time, got a decent look, but again, self-creation off the bounce, offensive rebound opportunity.
Vic Schaefer trying to get something going. His team, who has the 4th most efficient offense in the country. Texas, who is the #1 ranked team in the country, even though they're the #2 seed in this tournament. They have been held down today. Holly misses again. Mwenetanda, an inaccurate pass, and Texas turns it over for a 15th time. And some of these turnovers, Rebecca, you talked about maybe fatigue playing a role. Also, they're hurried at times that they don't need to be.
Well, nothing has been smooth or easy on the offensive end for Texas. And, you know, when you're in a groove, you feel the groove. When you're completely out of it, you feel that strongly too. And certainly right now, they've been in zero flow at any point in this game.
South Carolina outscoring Texas 18-2 on layups in this game. They've also largely held Texas off the offensive glass as Fagan shows a little versatility.
We've seen multiple times various players from South Carolina look like they have a burst, including there on the blow-by drive. When have we seen Texas, like a player look like, oh, she had a burst on that play?
Harmon inside, Jones gets fouled. Free throws coming for Taylor Jones. South Carolina, an 18-point lead, trying to win a 3rd straight SEC tournament championship. Gamecocks at Work, brought to you by Principal.
We've been talking about South Carolina's defense and how it has limited Texas and how it has limited Madison Booker. Here, you've got defenders, one with length, one with quickness. You can just help off on Madison Booker, force her to take a contested shot. This time it's Bree Hall, another 6-foot defender. All eyes on Madison Booker, including Raven Johnson in the corner, just completely playing off of Rory Harmon, able to get in and junk it up. Again, just helping off of the perimeter players, making the lane dirty so that Texas can't get the pass into the post. Once again, Raven Johnson just lets Rory Harmon go through to the other side, not even looking at her, playing almost 18 feet away. A dirty lane makes for dirty offense for Texas. It's one of the reasons they have been stymied so much in this game. And here, second half, more of the same. Lots of white uniforms in the paint, and then able to come over and help as well. Outstanding defense by South Carolina.
Jones hits the free throw. South Carolina has contested 12 of Texas's 13 attempts in the paint. I mean, and you could just really, you illustrated it beautifully, partner, and even on that last possession, you see who's not guarding Harmon on the perimeter at all.
Yes.
Lob it inside, Edwards, the bucket and the foul.
The screen from Tessa Johnson is what gets Joyce Edwards open for the look, and then the pass is delivered perfectly. Watch the screen here, it comes, Tessa sets it, and then even though the help defense gets there a second late, Edwards able to finish. Beautifully delivered pass by Raven Johnson. Seen that a couple of times here in the tournament out of a timeout. A really well drawn up play by South Carolina.
Third foul on Preston. South Carolina went through some ups and downs this regular season. They're not accustomed to losing 3 regular season games over the last few years as Jones gets fouled on the interior. But Rebecca, in the couple games heading into the SEC tournament, and then here in these 3 matchups, South Carolina has looked every bit primed to make another run towards the national championship.
One of the interesting things Dawn Staley told us a couple of weeks ago, she said, my team has lost when they've needed to and they've won when they needed to. And it's a relatively young team who still can learn a lot from those losing moments. And right now, certainly this is a South Carolina team playing its best basketball of the season.
Jones has been the best option for Texas. 10 points, 6 rebounds for Taylor Jones. Texas had a lot of success on the offensive glass each of the first 2 meetings against South Carolina. They have not today. For Wiley dishes out, Johnson's 3. You bet! Largest lead of the game for the Gamecocks. Jones again gets fouled. Taylor Jones will shoot 2.
These last 2 possessions, you know how hard it is to catch the ball when you have that many people around your feet? It's a lot harder than catching here for Tessa Johnson on a great pass by Malaysia Wiley. Stepping right into it. We talked about it all game long with South Carolina. Paint touch to then good look from the perimeter.
Let's send things over to Holly.
Well, you're talking about South Carolina learning throughout the course of this season. Being perfect last year put a lot of pressure on them. I remember Dawn Staley telling us it's been helpful to not have the pressure of being undefeated all season long. But what has been different for them lately is their habits. When they got that big blowout loss to UConn, Dawn said all of our bad habits showed up in that game. Since then, the habits have returned to stellar. Rebounding, sharing the ball, great defense, the habits they need to make a run in March.
Great stuff, Holly, and they certainly look primed for that today as Johnson glides in.
Dawn Staley said coming into the SEC tournament, we need tournament Tessa. And she's had some really nice moments throughout this tournament and in this game.
12 points for Tessa Johnson. Again, playing way off Harmon.
Yes.
Preston gets denied by Wiley, but a foul. And free throws again for Texas. Huddling up, trying to get their group going. Tessa Johnson has other plans.
Yeah, 6 feet tall. You just see her swim right through, get back by the defense, and hit the easy one. We saw her step up and drain the three a couple possessions ago.
22-2 advantage on layups for South Carolina. Rebecca, Texas is getting to the line now, which they had not. They literally had not the entire first half. They're 8 of 9 here in this third quarter. But when you don't use the three-point line the way Texas does not, it's hard to climb out of holes like this.
Yeah, without question. You have to rely on turnovers in that instance in order to cut into this lead.
Booker gets a breather. 1 of 7 on the day. Texas's last 9 points from the free throw line. His 2 made field goals in the quarter for Texas. Johnson's 3, in and out. And a whistle going to keep things here. Coming up tonight, 8:30 Eastern over on the SEC Network. The SEC Now crew will have their Women's Tournament Championship Trophy post-game show. Those ladies have done a wonderful job all week here in Greenville. Johnson, another 3 off. Raven Johnson trying to save it, could not. 2:17 to go in the third. A reminder, the Big 12 Championship coming up next here on ESPN, here on Champ Sunday. Duke already an impressive win over NC State to win the ACC Championship. In the corner, Lee off. Rebound Johnson, again looking to push for the Gamecocks. Kitts, good position. Gets denied by Taylor Jones, who's had some really good moments in this game for Texas. Couple of blocks, 12 points, 6 rebounds for Taylor Jones. The senior center, an Oregon State transfer. Sanaya Fagan will come in for Chloe Kitts for South Carolina. Kitts, 9 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists. Johnson off to Fagan. For Wiley, what a cut. Oh, Malaysia nearly put it in. And a foul on Malaysia for Wiley. Texas in the bonus, so more free throws here. They have no field goals in the last 7 minutes, but this has been their most productive offensive quarter thanks to all the trips to the line.
But they're still -1 in the quarter to South Carolina.
Well, Wiley will check out. Rahina Pau back in for the Gamecocks. Harmon hits the first. Holly.
Well, it's still hard to believe, seeing how hard she plays, that Rory Harmon is just 14 months removed from an ACL injury that kept her out most of last year. As soon as she tore her ACL, she called all of the rehab people, all of the athletic training staff in and said, I'm going to need your best. I intend to get back, be ready to play at the beginning of next season. And she did that, getting cleared after just 10 months. Look at her fly around on the court. I just admire her spirit and her resolve coming back from that ACL tear.
Yeah, excellent report, Ollie. It's so true as Edwards banks it in. Harmon ran a 6-minute mile just 8 months after her ACL surgery.
And you saw her probably 2 months ago kind of regain the burst that she had, because at her size, she needs elevation in order to get to her mid-range game, and that has returned. She's looking a lot closer to the player we saw before the injury.
Wayantanga misfires on the jumper. Here comes Pau. Into Edwards. Edwards, the footwork. The lay comes up short. 12-second difference, game and shot clock. Harmon wraps inside, up, under, and off. Follow is good for Taylor Jones, continuing to have a big third.
Yeah, she's been a real bright spot for Texas so far in this game.
14 points, 8 rebounds. for Taylor Jones. Shot clock turned off. South Carolina can hold for a final look. Pow charges inside, gets blocked. Still time. Out to Fagan, her three is good. Just her second three of the season. Sanaya Fagan makes it a 19-point South Carolina lead, headed to the fourth in the SEC championship game. We chat with Dawn Staley next. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Principal. Let's build a retirement and benefits plan that works for your team. Sanaya Fagan, a big three at the buzzer to end the third quarter. South Carolina, a big lead. Holly Rowe with Dawn Staley moments ago.
Well, Coach Staley, Sanaya Fagan has come alive this season for you. What is it like to see her walk off the court after a big three like that?
Proud. She stuck with us when it wasn't popular, and you can see if she wants to play anything less than her standard, she probably should have transferred, but she wanted to play to her standard. And she stepped up in a big way. Like we need her more than anything. She's been holding it down with bigger, stronger, more girth post players because she's smart and she's talented and she's skillful and she's utilizing all those things right now.
A big lead right now going into the fourth. What will it take to close out a win in a championship?
For us to stop fouling, they're not making baskets. We're fouling them, putting them on the line, stopping the clock. So we got to play disciplined basketball on both sides of the ball. We're getting good shots. We got to make sure they don't get good shots and we're not sending them to the line.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, Holly.
Well, thank you to Holly. Thank you to Dawn Staley. Sanaya Fagan has been displaying all aspects of that pro skill set over the last couple of months, and somebody who certainly has WNBA aspirations. Dawn Staley's talked about that with us throughout the season, and you heard Dawn reference it earlier too, the way they try and develop players and spend time on that throughout the season with their players who hope to go to the next level. Sanaya Fagan has been doing a lot that I would think is attractive to WNBA front offices.
Yeah, and some of the things that kind of go unnoticed in terms of her physicality defensively in the post, how much she talks on the defensive end of the floor.
Jones couldn't spin that one in over Fagan and gets the rebound. Dawn Staley talked about it, just trying to keep Texas off the line. They had just 3 made field goals in that third, but went 11 of 12 from the free throw line. South Carolina's lead is 19, fourth quarter of the SEC championship. Hicks lost it. Here comes Harmon. Harmon can't finish it over Pow. Booker trying to come away with it, does, and a timeout taken by Texas. They will have just one remaining after this. We'll step aside. 9:05 to go in the fourth quarter of the SEC championship. Powering forward, presented by Nissan.
Sanaya Fagan has been solid all throughout the course of the SEC tournament, and she's showing what she can do for this team. Let's get her scoring inside mid-range, and coming into this game, it had hit 1-3 all season long, drains that one there. You can see her teammates celebrating her accomplishment.
Fagan in South Carolina, a 19-point lead, 11 points, 6 rebounds, 2 steals for Sanaya Fagan. As we send things over to Holly Rowe.
You know, Dawn Staley told us that they saw this greatness in Sanaya Fagan as a sophomore, but that she just kept putting obstacles in her own way. She had to get out of her own way. And coming up this summer, she ended up competing for the 2024 FIBA 3x3 team in the World Cup. And she was named the MVP and won the gold medal. That confidence she got from that event has poured into this season. She's out of her own way, out of her own head, moving quickly past any mistakes on the court, and this confidence continues to shine.
No doubt about it, Hal, and just making good winning plays all season long. Booker, meanwhile, has really struggled here again today. against South Carolina, the SEC Player of the Year. Booker was terrific last night in a win against LSU with 25 points. But today, 1 for 8 from the floor. Johnson can't finish it. Loose ball. Hall has it.
This entire possession, Sanaya Fagan has been talking to her teammates, helping them understand where they should go, setting screens. Nothing that still shows up in a stat sheet, but absolutely things that help your team have success.
Raven Johnson, 3 to shoot. Johnson elevates, leaves it short. Booker the rebound and a shot clock violation. It'll be Texas basketball. Well, since the 2021 NCAA tournament, Texas's lowest field goal percentage games have all come against South Carolina. The Elite Eight that year, January 12th this year, and a loss to South Carolina. And today, shooting at just 27%.
So much credit goes to what South Carolina has done defensively and just stymieing everything that Texas wants to do on the offensive end of the floor. Good Raven Johnson right now, just in the paint, not even looking out at Preston.
Booker, mid-range, rims off. Here's Johnson. Lob it into Kitts. Kitts backs away. Kitts, 7 to shoot. Kitts jumper, wow! Chloe Kitts in her bag.
How about running a two-man game on the right side of the floor with your forward and your center? And that's what we just saw with Fagan and Kitts.
Harmon pull up from the free throw line is good. Rory Harmon with 12. Taylor Jones with 14. The rest of Texas with just 9 combined. Here's Hall. Off to Pow, under 7 minutes to go. Pow, great attack, couldn't finish it. Oldacre, who's been mostly quiet in this game, with the rebound. Harmon, again in the mid-range, able to hit. Rory Harmon up to 14 points, and Dawn Staley will take a timeout. South Carolina having trouble with the inbound. 6:31 to go in the fourth. South Carolina's lead is 17.
How many teams can run a clear out on one side of the floor for their power forward and their center? Pass, cut, go to work, step back, hit the tough mid-range jumper. Come on, Chloe Kitts.
Well, South Carolina, the SEC tournament champion in 2023. South Carolina, the SEC tournament champion in 2024. Trying to make it a three-peat, and 6 minutes and 31 seconds away from doing so. The other teams who have won 3 straight SEC titles, Tennessee from 98 through 2000, and from 2010 through 2012. And South Carolina did it from 2015 to 2018, trying to accomplish that again here today. It's going to be a difficult decision who ends up tournament MVP for South Carolina.
Because they've got so many options.
Yes. Mylasia Fulwiley, Chloe Kitts, and Aya Fagan, I think all have legitimate cases. As Kitts, trouble with the inbound, throws it away, and still 6.5 minutes to go for Texas to try and make a run.
Dawn Staley calls a timeout because her team was unable to inbound the ball within the 5 seconds, draws up a play, and they still end up turning it over.
Harmon and Jones, 10 for 21, rest of Texas 3 for 23.
I'm just laughing watching Dawn Staley and her frustration over on the sideline.
Here's Lee, pull up, off, rebound Harmon. Harmon trying to create, leaves it short, rebound Pow. Pow to the corner. Fulwiley bodies in, gets denied by Oldacre, and it's out of bounds off of Fulwiley.
She got ahead of herself a little bit on that possession, Mylasia Fulwiley. We talk about how her speed is such a great asset, and in here she just gets gobbled up.
Under 6 to go in the fourth. Can Texas make a push here, down 17. Preston doesn't take the three, lost the ball, gets it back. Flips it out, 10 to shoot. Booker quiet today, her jumper is good. Madison Booker, just her second field goal on 10 attempts. 15-point game, a little 6-0 burst from Texas. Still 5.5 minutes remaining. Edwards dumps it down, Kids wide open.
I don't think there's a post player for South Carolina who isn't a great passer.
Yeah.
That was a tough pass to see over the defense and deliver it.
We've seen that all season from the freshman, Joyce Edwards. All SEC first team. Harmon gives it up. Preston can't knock it down. Oldacre to the ground and a travel.
Joyce Edwards gets the ball on the right block. A couple of defenders come over to her. So what does she just looks? That's length. Oldacre, 6'10" wingspan there, leaving Chloe Kitts inside, and Edwards easily delivers it.
Texas 0 for 6 from 3 in this game. They were 0 for 4 in their win against South Carolina in February. Kitts having trouble getting it in. Finally does to Johnson. Some pressure in the backcourt. Johnson trying to get Lee on her hip. Breaks the timeline, and now South Carolina will run some clock. Edwards tosses out, 5 to shoot. Johnson, nice move. Flips it up short. Harmon off the rebound. Harmon zipping into the front court. Booker, a good, clean look. And she got it from 3. The best attempt of the day for Madison Booker, maybe the first where she wasn't draped by defenders. Now she takes it away. Handed the jumper and kicks the rebound. Boy, that would have made things interesting. 14-point game, a 9-2 Texas run. Still a lot of time left. And we know this Texas team always battles. They have a ton of heart, a ton of grit.
And we saw in the quarterfinal game a massive comeback by Vanderbilt against South Carolina. They had been down 25, were able to cut it to 5 midway through that fourth.
Now we talked about the MVP candidates for South Carolina, all very productive in this tournament.
They come down to these last 4 minutes if anybody has a final burst to get those votes.
Well, Wiley checks out. Edwards, Tessa Johnson, Raven Johnson, Kitts, and Hall on the floor for South Carolina. Here's Raven Johnson. She's done a great job of managing the clock here in this fourth quarter for the Gamecocks. Raven Johnson dumps it inside. Tessa Johnson lays it in.
Big bucket, big bucket.
Tessa Johnson with 14 points off the bench in this one. Harmon hesitates, fades, leaves it short. Rebound Edwards. It feels like South Carolina was able to weather that little storm Texas had brewing. Coming on 3 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter of the SEC championship game. Kitts putting on the deck, off one leg. Leaves it just off. Here's Booker. Booker curls inside. What a tough take from Madison Booker. And now Vic Schaefer is going to use his final timeout with 2:45 to go, trailing by 14.
Madison Booker in the burst of speed, able to get by Hall and get in and deliver. She's had a much improved fourth quarter here.
You know, Rebecca, regardless of what happens here in the final 2:45, Texas has to be just so proud of what they have done. Their first year in the SEC to come in, have a share of the regular season title, make it to this conference championship game. Still battling here with 2:45 remaining. But since Vic Schaefer has taken over Texas, this program has been outstanding. They've been to the Elite Eight 3 of his first 4 seasons. The number 1 ranked team heading into this game. They're almost a lock to be a number 1 seed, regardless of this result. A lot to be proud of, no doubt.
He's completely turned around this Texas program. You know, this is a much storied program with a great history, winning national championship in 1986, going undefeated in that stretch. And now this is a team that's back on the map, as you mentioned, the number one ranking right now. And you know, the way he talks about this team, it's clear he loves coaching this group of young women. And he talks about their toughness and how hard they work. And we've seen that here, especially in this fourth quarter, Ryan, where they clamped down defensively and made some plays on the offensive end where they really could have let this game get completely away from them.
Outscored South Carolina 11-6 in this fourth. 2:45 to go, 14-point lead for the Gamecocks. They've had trouble getting the ball in bounds, and they do again as Booker knocks it away. Stays with South Carolina.
Texas is so good at defronting and denying, making all of these looks very challenging for South Carolina on the inbound.
Edwards gets it into Raven Johnson. Raven Johnson now will veer up the floor and now slow things down to run some clock. 2:35 to go in the fourth. Here's Edwards, lost the handle, off to Johnson. 12 to shoot. Edwards with 10 to shoot. Her jumper is good.
Such a luxury for Dawn Staley, especially in these late game situations where there's so much deny, where all 5 of your players have good, strong handles and could put the ball on the deck.
Booker wiggling through traffic. Pressed in, denied by Johnson. Hall off to the races. They're ready to celebrate in Greenville, South Carolina. Tessa Johnson realized she had to get it across. Dawn Staley telling her team to wind this clock. Hits, misses the layup, but not the follow. Rejected by Johnson. And it is all cosmetic at this point, with 1:04 to go in the fourth. And South Carolina, a 20-point lead on Texas. Dawn Staley will go to her bench. What a tournament from Chloe Kitts, a career high in the quarterfinals with 25. 15-9-3 today. A player who just continues to ascend for South Carolina. Vic Schaefer getting Rory Harmon, Madison Booker out of this game under a minute to go. Plenty of basketball left to be played in the month of March for both of these teams. Charlie Cream has them both being a 1 seed regardless of what happened today. Reminder, Selection Sunday, a week from today. Shea Holly can't finish that one, but will go to the line to shoot 2. There's the trophy, which once again will be headed to Columbia. Just a complete attack today from South Carolina, up and down the roster, production from all corners. A dominant defensive performance, holding Texas under 30% from the floor. Oldacre the block. Chance in transition here. Ali nearly throws it away, and now South Carolina can dribble it out. The hugs have started on the South Carolina bench. Another accomplishment for this program, for this coaching staff. And for the third straight year, South Carolina, champions of the SEC.
An incredible team performance by South Carolina, just dominant on the defensive end of the game the entire time, especially to start taking Texas out of everything they wanted to do. Did it as a team, the way they share the basketball on the offensive end of the floor. Dawn Staley talked to Holly Rowe at the half, said teaching our players how to play the right way, the fun way. And that's what we saw on both ends of the floor from South Carolina today.
Fagan lifted up that trophy. The full presentation will be on SEC Plus. Dawn Staley acknowledging the crowd. Chloe Kitts is with Holly Rowe.
Chloe, this was a very strong defensive effort from your team. How were you able to be so smothering and really stop that Texas offense?
I mean, Coach Scout, we went over a bunch of times, and we know we would be able to beat them if we had good defense, and rotation was so good, and everybody on the bench just came in, and we played our heart out.
You had another strong day offensively. You already had a career high a couple of days ago, but 9 rebounds. What are you finding with your strength right now, Chloe? Because you've taken it up a notch.
I just want to win. I feel like my confidence is going up because my teammates and coaches, they just give me so much confidence, so I'm just going to go out there and play with my heart.
How did the redemption of a championship after losing to them last time feel?
It feels amazing. We deserved it, and we got it.
Thank you, Chloe.
So much.
Well, thank you, Holly. What a performance from Chloe Kitts all tournament long. 15 points, 7 of 12 today, 9 rebounds, 3 assists. Kitts also the end of the regular season, really just continuing that momentum. Big hug there from Tessa Johnson, with South Carolina peaking at the right time. Vic Schaefer gathers his team. He knows there's still a lot of work to be done, a lot ahead for Texas here in March. Sanaya Fagan now with Holly Rowe.
Sanaya, you have really come into your own late in the season. How have you been the most consistent performer for the Gamecocks this year?
I said my trust in my teammates. My teammates gave me the trust in my teammates. They gave me the confidence. They told me to go out there. They told me to go out there and do what I got to do, and I just do it.
This was a beautiful brand of your basketball today. You guys were moving the ball, sharing the ball, getting great looks and assists. How does that flow really rejuvenate you?
It goes really well. I mean, that's our game. We go play defense, go into offense. We just go out there and do what we got to do.
You've been here at South Carolina for a while. What does this championship mean to you?
It means a lot. Just know this is my last one, and we got it. We got the dub, y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Holly, Sanaya, thank you very much. A reminder that the entire trophy presentation will be on SEC Plus, but another championship performance from Dawn Staley in South Carolina. Domination of Texas today, holding them under 30% from the floor and getting big-time contributions up and down the roster for South Carolina.
I mean, they were just completely dominant, and this is a team that all season long has beaten people because of their depth and their unselfishness. And yes, a few bumps in the road along the way, but wow, South Carolina certainly looks like a championship caliber team right now, and they are in the SEC.
Once again, the final score, South Carolina 64, Texas 45. For our producer, Kerry Callahan, our director, Jimmy Platt, the Hall of Famers, Rebecca Lobo, Holly Rowe, and our entire crew who has worked their tails off all week long.
We're joined by the SEC Tournament Champion head coach Dawn Staley, Tournament MVP Chloe Kitts, and Sanaya Fagan. We'll begin with questions for the student athletes, then we'll take questions for Coach. Start here in the front, DC.
Chloe and Sanaya, if you could both take this. The defense was really on point today, especially in that second quarter. How much did y'all concentrate on that leading up to this game? And was there something different than maybe the other two times that you played Texas?
We were all locked in. We all wanted to win, so we all went out there and gave us their best shot.
Yeah, we just tried to match their intensity and just go out there strong and hard.
Over on the right, Cora.
Sanaya, when you think about your journey at South Carolina to have these kind of performances this weekend on both sides of the ball to help you guys win a third straight championship, just what does this moment mean to you?
It means a lot to me just to know that I trusted my process and Coach trusted me as well, and I went out there and did what I had to do.
The back.
This one's for the both of y'all. In that second quarter, the crowd really got going. I think y'all started on a 17-0 run. Obviously, Colonial Life was great, but how does this environment compare to the y'all's home gym?
I mean, it's amazing. It almost feels the same. All those fans came out and supported us. We appreciate it so much.
Yeah, it's like a home game away from home.
Right.
I didn't think they were that loud. we want this to be the SEC tournament home. We want to keep this as
they weren't loud enough, honestly.
Yeah, CLA's way louder. What?
In the front, Cora.
Sanaya, the way Chloe played this weekend, just what did you see from your perspective of what was working so well for her, and just what did you think of her performances this weekend?
I think Chloe's a dog. I mean, inside, outside, whatever you give her, you tell her go, she's gonna go and she's gonna get that bucket. So, I mean, give total props to her, MVP, well deserved.
Thanks, sweetie.
Welcome.
All right, Corey.
Sanaya, you've played a lot of basketball games with Bree Hall. I wanted to get your take on her defensive performance today. I know she was tasked some of the time with guard Madison Booker. I know you've, again, seen her kind of lock down a lot of the other team's best player. What did you think of how Bree played defensively today?
I think she did great. When she has an assignment, she sits there, she studies it, and she takes her time to learn what she needs to do. She asks questions, and she goes out there and do what she needs to do.
Any more questions for the student athletes? Ladies, thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll take questions for Coach.
Dawn, the same thing. The defense just seemed really locked in. Do you think that was the best defensive performance that y'all have had this year?
I think it was timely. I think it was what we needed today. I think we needed to play a lot better than the last time that we played them. And, I do think we used our experience being here to our advantage. I know Fagan's been here a lot. Chloe's been here a lot. Some of the young ones, Raven's been here a lot. Breezy's been here a lot. So it's different. And I know there are a lot of South Carolina fans in the building, but it's just different playing on this Sunday. And if you haven't really experienced it, you need to experience it. And I know that come the next few years, Texas is going to be right back here. And they'll be, and I'm not saying that they weren't prepared. It's just, to win a national championship, you got to have been to a Final Four and experience all the things that come with it. And then if you ever get a chance to go back, you just right some of the ship that needs to be righted. You get overly excited. You get so close to the goal, and then something trips you up. When you've gone through that process, it doesn't trip you up.
We'll stay here in the front.
And I'm not saying that's what happened to Texas, y'all. I'm just giving you all my experience with being here and being at a Final Four.
Dawn, when we were down in Columbia for the senior night, I asked you if
you thought this was going to be the toughest SEC champion. You said by far this is going to be the toughest. Yet you guys won by 21, 18, and 19. Are you surprised, first of all, that you guys came out on top by those wide margins? And what does that say about your team as well?
I mean, it didn't feel like that. It didn't. Like, the stress levels were up for the 3 games. I mean, we're playing some of our best basketball, and we didn't know how it would turn out. But I thought we put our habits out there on the floor for 3 games, and it wasn't perfect basketball, but I think we were in it for longer stretches the way that we needed to play in order for us to win, and it produced some really quality wins against like stiff competition.
Second row on the right.
Coach, you talked about the fact of using you guys' experience in this situation. When you think about players like Raven Johnson and Bree Hall, like how much of that really helps having them? Like I said, they may not have the stats that show up in the stat sheet, but they really, talk about their impact.
We don't win this game without the contributions of Bree Hall and Raven Johnson. The defense, the attention to detail, and the execution of it. We don't. We put those 2 in positions of basically quarterbacking our defense. If Reezy doesn't make it, make Booker doesn't make her work hard for catches, and then when she caught the ball, if she doesn't, play her the way that we needed to play her, or shade her the way we needed to shade her. If Raven wasn't, in the position of having Booker see her and see Breezy. And then we did a really good job at fronting the post players. And then Raven was always around, executed, to the highest level. And you have to have players that have experienced it, because we came in here and we shot around, but we didn't go live. We just said, this is how we need to play. And then you have someone like a Breezy Hall. Like we were going over some of their high frequency sets at shoot around, and it was a set that most teams run, and I asked them if they wanted to go through it, and they were like, no, give us the hard stuff, like give us the hard sets. It is that she was locked in to the game plan and wanted to know what she needed to do in order for us, for her to help us win another championship.
Front row on the right.
Sanaya Fagan was just so important for you guys, so consistent, especially going against, some of the best post players in the conference in semifinals and today. Just when you think about her journey and buying to that process, just what did you think of her consistency this weekend, and how special is it to see a player have this kind of moment?
It's kind of really cool to see someone go through their process, and probably the first 3 years of her college career didn't quite look or feel or sound like what she was capable of. And I will say that I never let Fagan play less than her standard. And that meant she sat a lot. That means she played here and there. She spotted here and there. But this year, it paid off. Like when she's locked in, she's communicative, she's skillful, she can stick to a game plan, she can defend. I mean, she's got great footwork, she's got great touch. She is very efficient around the basket. Like, that is her. Like, you're seeing all of her skill set that we saw during the recruiting process that we didn't see on a consistent basis her first 3 years.
Stay in the front.
Hey, Dawn, you guys were a 2 seed in the most recent bracket reveal. Do you feel like this weekend secures your status as a 1 seed, and you think you guys should have a shot at the #1 overall seed in the entire tournament next weekend?
When you win this tournament, and you play the schedule that we played, I do think we're the #1 overall seed, no matter what it ends up being. And we, again, manufactured our schedule to put ourselves in this situation. So I just hope the committee doesn't discount, our entire resume, there isn't anybody in the country that has played the schedule that we've played, that's won this, that had a share of the regular season and then winning the tournament, having beat the number one team in the country. I think Oklahoma's 12. Are they 12? Right? I don't know. They're top team in the country, and Vandy is a tournament team. Like, there's no one. There's no one. So I'm shocked that we were the number 2 seed. I was very shocked. If beating us gives the people who beat us so much credit, like that you get so much credit for beating us, and yet when we've had some of the toughest stretches in the country and we came out of it unscathed, you can't discount that. Like, you can't discredit that. And I'm going to speak out about it because I have to, because you got to hear the voice of the other side. Because if you don't think our body of work deserves it, then somebody needs to speak out on it. And if it's not us, if it's not our conference, if it's not whoever, I'm going to go down fighting. I am going to go down fighting for what our team earned.
Here in the middle.
Coach, every opposing coach has been asked about the crowd playing against you guys. Not to say that the crowd isn't impactful, but do you think sometimes there's just too much made of it? I mean, for example, LSU shot 18 of 57 last night against LSU. Texas shot 18 of 57 against LSU in a neutral crowd, and then today 16 of 54, and a lot to be made about the shooting woes being because of the crowd. Do you think there's sometimes too much to be made of that?
I'm going to be real. Like, it isn't advantageous for us. Okay. I will say this. I mean, everybody has an opportunity to buy a ticket. They do. If this was played, I don't know, in Mississippi, right? Our fans are still coming. They're coming to wherever we are. We build up, an incredible fan base that travels. Our fans were in Paris last year when we opened the season. Our fans were in Vegas when we opened the season this year. So wherever we are, they're going to travel. I think this location is great. If we're not here, another conference will be here. So, and I think we need to consider the fans too. I mean, it's a great city. Like, it's a great city. There's so much to do. There's so much architecture. There's so many great restaurants. There's so many walking paths. There's so much to do. And I think about that as well. I also think about it, there's a lot of people in the gym today. And that's an indicator of where women's basketball is.